I'm gonna give a little bit. Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome out to the stream, guys. Welcome. Sorry for the big delay, about a whole hour and a half. Gliitchzz had some problems, but we're all Gucci now. But what is up, everyone? How's everyone doing? What's up, Yoshi fan? What is up, Colby Kong? Happy birthday, Colby Kong. How you doing, buddy? What's up, Gliitchzz? What's up, Haley? What's up, Gian Gladarama? What's up, Otaku Ben? Hey, Kayla, have fun. Wish I could fully watch, but I'd be lurking while I'm at work. Yoshi fan. Dude, I said no sound commands this stream. Yoshi fan, I said no sound command this stream, bro. Let me go ahead and undeafen myself so you can hear this sexy man.
Oh, cool.
There we go. I'm undeafen
There's
now so you guys can. Yeah, I was just doing my intro.
All right, I love your intro.
Yeah, it's a thing I do now. Whenever I start streams, I deafen myself and do everything. Then I unmute the Discord.
So I was going to do something like that. I have my whole new setup, and the only thing is my intro. I'm still trying to figure out a good way to do that. Of course, I want to take that time to do the membership talks and whatnot.
Oh yeah, dude. When I saw you got members, I pressed that button so fast.
It's funny because for a whole week it just sat there without me activating it, without me knowing.
That's funny. I was waiting for that to get activated when I was waiting for it.
Hi, Yoshi fan. How you doing? How's it going?
Let me go ahead and pull up your stream on my side.
I hit start. Yes, I am live, Curb. How you doing? How's it going?
Not my feed. What the heck?
Oh, YouTube's doing that again. YouTube likes to do that.
Sorry, YouTube. Always. Hold on. Are you my notifications? Yes, you are my notifications.
Marnik, hello. How you doing? How's it going? Not much. How about you?
There we go, dude. I love your new setup.
Awesome. Thank you. One of the cool things is whenever I have to do an intermission, I hit the intermission button and it'll pop up with one of my highlighted videos or edits to play while I'm on, intermission.
Hold on, I'm confused. We're not at that part in the game.
Yeah, I know, right? I hit load and there it was.
We're like at the part
yeah.
where
they save
Lizzie.
like that. That's
He's
weird.
the train up. Which one was it?
Did I just save over that? Uh-oh.
Not the one? Uh-oh. You better press load instead of save.
Might have accidentally saved over the most recent file.
April 17th? Oh, crap, guys. Gliitchzz might be in a doozy.
Yep. Train to prepare for arrival. What?
Yeah, that's where we were. We were at the part where you said Lizzie was going to train for her arrival.
Okay, there we go. Oh, thank God for that skip button.
You're good now?
Yep, the skip button took me back to where we had been before. Now I've got the saves right.
You sent me 3 pictures of your cake? Yo, nice, Colby. Nice, dude. You got you got PlayStation buttons and level 22. That's pretty cool, dude. Yep. Going through your life is like going through levels. Every year you level up. Alright. Let me go ahead and get into my game. Load. April 17th or April 18th? Where are you at? Okay, you're at that screen, so you must be there.
Yes.
E-gang. Hey, Dragoon and everyone. Hey, Ben. How you doing, buddy? Also, guys, if not already, make sure you guys go ahead and smack that like button and go check out Gliitchzz side. His link is in the description. Nice, Yoshi fan. You shaved Dragon? Yeah, I had to. My boss said I had to shave.
Oh no.
Yeah, so beard's
Hold
all
on.
gone.
I did not see the shave.
Yeah, beard's all gone. Yeah, beard's all gone. Sadly.
That is sad.
But it's whatever. Alright, let's get into this. Alright. You guys ready for the uwu?
Yep. Who's gonna be narrator first? Because we're on narrator bit.
Chat, who's gonna be the narrator right now? You gotta choose. I'm still a little tired.
Let's
Glitches?
see.
Alright. There's one for Glitches, one for Nick.
Yeah, guys, go ahead and let us know who you want to narrate first. And remember, it can be switched at any time. And I'll be doing my next moderator giveaway at 1.5k subs. Pretzel Sticks. Also, how you doing? How's it going? Thank you.
It's not wonderful. It's sexy. Oh, we got two Nicks.
Oh, Nick's winning.
Any more votes, guys?
And also, hi, Ollie. I'm sorry.
John's not narrator right now. Also, Glitches, it is Colby's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Colby.
Yep. I'm going to be doing a birthday stream of DK64 for him later tonight. Because his favorite series is Donkey Kong. Alright.
Donkey Kong's good. Not a problem, Colby.
Alright. There's more Nicks than Glitches, so...
Exactly.
I guess I will start. The facts of the Warnos incident were overwhelmed by rumors, theories, and other chaos that muddled a potential message. Lizzie was absolutely certain in her interpretation, but obviously she was keeping that to herself. The girl's name was common knowledge now, and her face was represented by both a very normal-looking yearbook photo and her grin from the video. The exact order of events was she had killed 12 of her classmates was still argued over, adding to the conspiracy theories.
Sit them down, otherwise I wouldn't have the hand.
It was unclear why she has done it, and none of the evidence offered struck Lizzie as correct. She was actually a little curious what the girl's reasoning had been, but ultimately it didn't matter. That moment, Lizzie was writing up some of her thoughts in her notebook. The incident had set her imagination on fire, so she'd used the notebook more lately, but she let John see much of what she did, and they'd be able to talk about it, which amplified the soothing effect. Now, though, she was finished and feeling restless. Lizzie glanced at the clock and got up to the pace a little. John was currently at the computer lab, another part-time job he'd taken to try and reduce their debt. This one was also unusually easy, he said. But tonight, allegedly, he was going to be playing games with some other people. Oh, I think I know what's coming. Including Aaron,
Uh-oh.
which made her a little uncomfortable. She knew it was irrational, but she hadn't pushed too hard. But John knew she'd like it. He promised that soon he'd start withdrawing a little more, spend time with her, but hadn't specified exactly when. Lizzie decided that it was time to go visit him. Not just to check on him, but because she might as well see what everyone was interested in. Games didn't particularly interest her, and John hadn't played many because they were expensive. Hey, you're not wrong, back in the day.
LAN party.
If there was a group on campus setting up something called a LAN party. Oh, but that's old school right there.
Oh, I loved LAN parties. Those were the best.
Yeah, that's old school right there, man.
We had one when Halo 3 first launched, and I'm horrible at first-person shooters. At one point, I had gotten one kill, and we had a divider door in between. They literally kicked down the door and went, "Who's playing for Seth?"
That's so funny.
Oh, it was the best.
Oh lord. She made her way across campus at speed toward the lab. She was anxious, no point denying that, but it was a low-level anxiety she could swallow without doing any harm. Inside, she found things a little different than expected. Each person had a separate computer. Maybe she had been thinking of consoles. With everyone together on the same couch, this was reasonable and seemed like the thing I think John would like. Though almost everyone was utterly fixated on screen, John looked up and smiled when he saw her. She immediately moved to stand behind him, one hand on his shoulder. She didn't seem to be from the point of view of someone running through corridors carrying a gun. There were other numbers, presumably the statistics related to the game.
So, this is the game?
Yeah, it's fun playing over a LAN, but I doubt I'd want to play it too often. Oh my gosh. That's normal, right? I mean, there's a lot more important causes in the world. You can't be focused all the time. You'll just end up useless, you know? Lizzie could have been focused all the time, or at least she should be. But she nodded. It was true for John, at least, and one of the ways he needed to protect him. Sorry if I'm distracted. After that match, we cut off as someone else appeared from around the corner on his screen, abruptly moving his mouse and hitting keys much faster. Lizzie found herself briefly concerned for his avatar. Unfortunately, it was the other player who collapsed, a little human image spurting blood.
Sorry, my throat's still not
That's not very realistic.
I promoted a strange eyebrow from Aaron. Well, it is a game.
So, is the person who kills the most people?
More or less, the timer is... Whoa!
Whoa!
There, we finally get to see Lizzie! Finally!
That's a good picture.
Finally, man. We finally get to see the point of view of Lizzie, finally. Once again, the game is sucked up his attention. So Lizzie stopped distracting him and just stayed behind to watch. If she could play the game, would John like that? Lizzie washed his hands in the gameplay. Reaction time seemed to play a part, and she'd be good at that. But the actions necessary to move and fire seemed very artificial. She wasn't sure if she'd be able to adjust to them. Of course, she wouldn't want to play against John, even if this character was just a little soldier that didn't look like him. She also wasn't sure she wanted to play with this group. A few were staring at her with a look like she made her set teeth on edge. Only John got to look at her. Kill me? Come on, Marek. Things went well until John's avatar came under heavy fire. Abruptly, then the screen pulled back and she saw the little figure collapse in the shower of blood. John had been killed? He winced and muttered to himself. Raw hatred surged for Lizzie as she realized one of the people in the room had killed him. He popped back up for a second, and she barely noticed, scanning the other chairs. Was there any way to tell which username connected to the person who had killed him? As things went on, John killed them back several times. He got killed again. The surges of hatred faded. It was just a silly little avatar after all. John was fine. If she could kill people in real life and do no harm, would she? The idea kind of excited her, but she decided not to explore it for now. Before too long, the match ended. If she read the screen right, John did well in the top third of players, considering he had less time for games than many other people. She was very proud of him, giving him a quick hug from behind. He swiveled around in his chair to face her, smiling. Just came to watch, I take it. Do you want to play?
How about that? It doesn't really seem like quite my sort of thing.
Do you know that there are seriously people blaming the Warmos incident on violent video games? Shaking his head, Aaron swiveled to face them. My god, this is gonna kill my voice. It's not just a few crackpots either. I hear a lot of people saying that this is because of violence in our media, calling for all kinds of what is that word? Social change. Societal change. So long as they're not superficial. I don't think they're going to overthrow the status quo with a revolution, Aaron. But obviously, I agree all that campaign against is misplaced. Hey, Josh.
Wait,
I don't know, man.
Oh, hi, Josh. Hi.
I think we're past the point where incremental change can accomplish anything. You see how the pharmaceuticals is spun in this incident and give them even more power. But it was a Koitek town. Who knows how drugs might have made this situation worse. That kills my throat so much. The two of them went back and forth, arguing mildly. Alright, Josh, nice. Arguing mildly. It was interested Lizzie a little bit, but was more abstract than she preferred. She drew up a chair and got involved to prevent some of the unpleasant people from coming closer and trying to talk to her. It seemed they were taking a break in between matches. Several people taking the time to go to the bathroom and get snacks. For the most part, it seemed like a decent group. Lizzie didn't mind John spending time with them. The break didn't last long, not nearly long enough for John and Aaron to resolve their disagreement. John glanced at her, but when Lizzie smiled encouragingly, he participated in the next match as well. Digital murder. Hey, Aaron, yep. As she watched, Lizzie got more of a natural sense for the game. But that actually took her out of the experience. In the game, there was no one you could tell if someone was behind you. No sense for the environment or easy way to keep tabs on the scenario. And the blood effects really were sort of silly. Not realistic at all. Hey, Nick Mongi, how you doing, buddy? Yet she felt a little intrigued. John had mentioned that computer graphics were always getting better. If there was a game that looked more realistic and let her use knives instead of guns, she wondered if it could be fun for her. Not the same as killing people, but... When they finished the next match, John got the stretch while Aaron glanced toward them again. You're really watching intently. You sure you don't want to play, Lizzie?
Every time, jeez.
It's okay. I don't really like guns.
Knives and fun don't belong in the same sentence. If you're Lizzie, it does. Haha, fair enough. This kind of violence isn't for everyone. Finished stretching, John glanced over at her for a moment, just considering. Then he nodded. I think I've had enough for today. You want to head home, Lizzie?
Okay.
You two take care, okay? They left the lab and walked back together, taking their time. John seemed to be contemplating something. Lizzie just kept pace alongside him and let him think until he was ready. Aaron's a good guy, but I don't think we're ever going to agree on some big things.
Thing we were talking about was changing society. With changing society, you mean?
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll get the FDCA change and the entire industry will be transformed. But I kind of doubt it. History would have needed to go differently years ago.
I agree with you, John.
Or she does.
My throat's way too
Guys,
scratchy
I'm not
right
ready.
now.
We got 8 viewers. Can we get 8 likes in the stream? Great Mighty Pooh, what?
Yeah.
I glanced over and saw that.
Yeah, and mine, we got Player Gamer 7 talking about the Great Mighty Pooh from Conker. I love it.
Maybe that's fine. He'll go his own way and organize protests and things. I'll see if I can't do more within the system. Maybe both approaches are necessary. They'll take us in completely different directions, though.
Hello, Anthony, and hello, Animations. Yep, it is early.
Do you mean you're upset that I'm uncomfortable about Aaron, are you?
He looked at her, slight surprise in his eyes. No, not at all. I was trying to say the opposite. It looks like our choices in life will mean that she spent less time together regardless. So is she the only psychopath, or is he also a psychopath? Just noticed his eyes. So is she the only Okay, you weren't here last time, Josh. There was another girl that killed like 12 students. There are other Yanderes here, but Lizzie is a controlled Yandere.
Yeah, I'm the best. I understand.
Oh,
I'm glad
shit.
you're not upset.
Oh,
What?
you guys didn't hear that? You guys did not hear that? You guys did not hear me swear just now? Pretend you didn't hear that.
It cut out.
Pretend you guys did not hear that. I just spilled water all over my desk. I'll be right back. Just spilled water all over my desk. I'll be right back.
Oh no, that's not good. To be fair, I didn't hear Dragon swear. He cut out on my end when he swore. He must have reached too many high volumes. Uh-oh. Oh, that's what I thought had happened. It happens too much, John. I've got Gatorade. Look at this. It's got a lid. That's like the only thing that prevents me from making a mess is that lid. Otherwise, there'd be lots.
Kobe, birthday on DragonGaming?
Yes, it is. Kobe Kong. I'm doing good, Dark Gamer. How you doing? How's it going in Animations? Yes. Oh no, Marna heard it clearly. Same, but for me, he was spoken over by Gliitchzz. Heck yeah, save the day. That's what a hero does. Oh boy. Oh, this little extra talking's gonna help me, just gonna help me end up getting my throat a little bit less scratchy for my Yandere lolly voice. Demonetized.
Hi, guys.
Oh, these bait.
Not my desk.
I still have not been
Okay, you don't
demonetized
care
for
about
swearing.
Ask Gliitchzz. He swears a storm in his streams.
Oh yeah, I do. Like a sailor, and believe it or not, I swear much more when I'm not streaming.
Yeah, same. Well, because I do not swear on streams. Swore because I was not expecting my water to freaking get all over my freaking desk. Alright,
Exactly.
but for me, he was spoken over by Gliitchzz. I heard it clearly, bruh. Okay. Got 8 viewers, boy. Let's get 8 likes in here. And if you guys don't know, there are some people in here that do not know about Gliitchzz. Go check him out. Go check him out. He's the other person talking with me. His link his link is down below in the description. Go check him out. Leave him a like on the stream. And subscribe to him. And hit that bell because he makes some pretty quality content.
Thank you. And the same goes with Dragon to my people. I have his link down in my description twice, once as a member and just once showing the collab, so you'll find his link somewhere in there really easily. He's awesome though. He's like me, a variety streamer. I think I stream a little bit less variety than I used to now, but I mean, it's kind of been a back and forth.
Alright.
I've just got Paper Mario and Paper Mario and Paper Mario and Paper Mario because I love Paper Mario.
It's a great game, so you're not wrong, dude.
Yeah, I got 1,000 Year Door recently, and I started doing one day for Paper Mario and one day for Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door because I'm like, this is not a direct sequel. I could just stream that one as well.
Alright. No, not at all. I was trying to say the opposite. It looks like our choices in life will mean that we spend less time together regardless. Yes, he did. I heard him loud and clear. Unsubscribe, removing member, Jake, bruh, Josh.
Oh no.
Is Paper
Ravioli,
Mario
how
made
you
of
doing?
paper? Paper Mario is made of stone. I'll stop.
He's made of very thin flesh.
Indeed.
Understand. I'm glad you're not upset.
Just thoughtful. It's strange how choices you make at the beginning of your life can take things in such different directions. That's so true, though. Wisdom from John, guys. It's like there's another version of me who follows Francesca's path and works for FDCA. Another one where I join protests. One where I forget all about it and just take some other job. You frick Paper Mario?
Interesting.
That's pretty kinky
Pepper
smash, bro.
Mario.
And it's interesting, but Lizzie didn't like the idea. She liked this John, the one with her. She liked herself and the singular relationship they had. John noticed her slight frown before he could think to hide it, but Lizzie decided that it was fine. She seemed troubled.
I am like thinking about other versions of myself. Lizzie, another about you, who somehow didn't love you. Or I don't want to think about those.
Aww. You don't have to focus on the depressing possibilities. What about a version of you where we escaped Koitek entirely and just lived happily together? The idea did bring a bit of warmth to her heart, even if it was a fantasy. But a moment later, Lizzie realized the true potential of the concept. She could always stay with her. I don't know what? She could always stay with her John and make the best decisions. But she could imagine all the paths not taken and enjoy them too. Just adding more facets to their relationship.
I like that, John. I really do.
I'm glad. I just wanted to say that even considering every possibility for the reality, I want to be with you in all of them.
Aww.
Lizzie lashed onto his arm happily and squeezed him for just a moment.
Oh, Bleach, you should see Blood read. Oh, he can read. Now, you are mod, Bleach. Oh, Bleach was picking on you a little bit, Dragon.
For what?
He's like, he can't read.
Bruh, I can't read. What do you mean? Shut up.
Oh,
it was that
just-
one word that I didn't know what it was.
It was, it's all good. He's just like to pick on people. We all do
Yeah,
here.
Josh, this entire game is from Lizzie's perspective.
Too, John. Oh, that alternate reality, Lizzie wants to be with you too.
Can you read? Well, now we're getting into straight science fiction. The two of them explore the topic as they head back. Sometimes speculative and sometimes just silly. Lizzie was happy to discuss it and brimming with happiness by the time they went to bed. There are so many other paths in life, but it would always be John and Lizzie. Lizzie and John. Forever. Forever. I'll stop.
Oh, just like the song that never ends.
Teacher, me dragon, can you read the next page? Me, teacher. Me dragon. Wait, teacher. Dragon, can you read the next page? Dragon, nope. Neck as pit. I never learned how to read. Bruh. Leave me alone. Stop bullying me. Okay, the music. Just notice the music.
Yeah, the music picked up right as the teacher asked you to read the next page.
Got really intense, boys. Lizzie been having a good day until she went out to get their mail. It contained their financial statement from the college, which normally she looked at
Dutifully.
dutifully, but didn't particularly care about. Nothing was wrong, technically. Their account was in good order, and all the payments were as expected. What bothered her, their debt had only changed by the usual amount. John had been working so much more. Shouldn't it have gone down? To be sure she wasn't making a mistake, Lizzie went to find their previous statement in a box with the others since John was always so organized. Yes, everything was just as she remembered. Odd. Chewing on her lower lip, Lizzie began looking around their home, checking alternate possibilities. The cash they kept at home was about the usual. It hadn't been any expenses she'd neglected to consider, and no mid-semester textbooks. Then where had the money gone? Her first thought was a fear that they had been robbed somehow. Josh, that wouldn't really work because it's a book. I see what you're going there. Her first thought was a fear that they'd been robbed somehow. Second, that the university was cheating them. She discarded both those quickly, as they would have other consequences before now. That left the only possible that John would intentionally hide something from her. Slowly sinking under the couch, Lizzie chewed one of her fingers and rolled her knife around her other hand, an exercise that is usually soothing, but not this time. What if they made it more than a book that allowed you to look around? That'd be pretty cool. I bet that'd take a lot more development.
Yeah, it would.
It was possible. Here we go again with the capitalized he's and hems. It was possible that he was gathering it for some kind of emergency, or even to leave. No, surely not. He couldn't live without him. She couldn't live without him, and her John would never do such a thing. But if not, why? Why? Realizing there was a blood trickling down her finger as she removed it from her mouth, he paused a moment, stealing her knife, and took a deep breath.
Ooh, we get options.
Said we confront John.
I'm pretty good with
For that-
confronting John.
We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good, Pixel Man.
Yee.
This isn't blind run for you, right, Dragon? No, this is the okay. Gliitchzz and I have played the first one. This is the semi-sequel. Hey, we got 6 likes, guys. Can we get 600 treasure from one of the mods? Yes, let's go ahead and confront John about it. Putting on a normal smile, Lizzie set aside everything she had been looking at and then waited for John to come home. When he arrived, she gave him her usual smile and embrace.
G'day, John.
Boring, as usual, which is a good thing. I got a lot read.
Jesus.
Are you gonna have to do extra shifts this week?
I got my shift is about to start. Alright, see you later, Josh. I'll see you tonight for Colby's birthday stream. I got offered overtime for one of them. But I was going to check with you first. Would that be fine?
Where's the extra money going, John?
His face immediately fell. For a moment, her heart fell with it. But she didn't see fear in his eyes, just the complex mix of emotions that she had a difficult time separating. Yup. He's speaking the language of the gods.
Oh no.
After a time, he sighed and shook his head, giving a rueful smile. I guess I should have tried to keep it a secret. Oh, so John was hiding a secret.
How
I
dare
was just
he?
afraid you think it's just too much of a sacrifice or something.
John, what do you mean?
I've been saving funds for our wedding.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. That's... Dude. I see why I was keeping a secret now.
Good secret to keep. Nice surprise.
Damn. We shouldn't have confronted John now. Damn. I feel bad now. Whatever. After
It happens.
plummeting through the earth. Epic Games, can you screw off? Do not want your free game right now. After plummeting through the earth, her heart shot back upwards. Alright, Pixel. Though she gave John a huge smile, the way his eyes lingered on hers suggested that the whiplash was visible on her face.
John, that's wonderful. But it would have been such a nice surprise, and now I ruined it.
Lizzie, don't beat yourself over it. I'm the one who should have been direct with you.
How long have you been planning this?
Quite a while. After high school, you were nervous the wedding would go wrong somehow, so I didn't try then. As time went on, you seemed less worried about it. But by then, we already had our college debt. I started thinking about how I talked about money a lot. I wondered if you wanted to get married, but felt that you couldn't ask because of the money. So I decided to save up a decent amount, then I could ask you and show you that the money would be no concern.
High five from Otakuban. Ho ho.
I fell back at you, bud.
I knew it must be something wonderful. I knew it! Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Let's get married as soon as we can.
He smiled at that and helped her calm down a little. While embracing him tightly, Lizzie realized that he was right. It would be wrong to rush into this, and either wedding day to be perfect, as all weddings should be. Half of her was overjoyed that John had been playing for this, the other half was conflicted. She had doubted him, and because of that, he had caused him pain. He was trying to hide it, but she could see that her accusation had made him unhappy. Both halves were swept away in the circle of imagination surrounding their weddings. Soon Lizzie realized that her imagination was only the beginning. The two of them could discuss all the wedding plans now. She pulled back and beamed at him again.
So many decisions to make. Where do we start?
Well, you still want me to go down on one knee and propose? It feels kind of weird given everything, but I wasn't sure you paid the gesture.
3 years ago, I think I would have said yes, but now I don't think it really matters. We both already know that we want to get married, and as for the romantic gesture, I already have lots of romantic memories, like you helping me clean up all those bodies.
Oh, that was bad. I started to get laughter mixed in with my little voice. Oh, it didn't mix.
I got a chuckle from him, which had been her goal. She meant it, though. John wasn't like her, and he could have been scared. But he helped her and accepted her, even after seeing everything she was capable of. Compared to that, the fantasy of him going down on one knee didn't seem to matter. Getting married, though, still wanted that, all the memories that went with it. Lizzie put her hand on his knee eagerly.
Okay, you're probably thinking about all kinds of plans and details, right? How close are we?
Well, that depends. It doesn't cost much to get married at the courthouse. I imagined you wanted more than that. The price of most weddings is ridiculous. You're not wrong, John. But I've been looking into ways to avoid the worst cost. They inflate prices for weddings, you see. John explained everything he'd been considering, making it clear just how much research he had done. He agreed with him on almost everything. They didn't need a lot of stupid expensive things for their weddings, just the things that really mattered, which quickly came down to a small list. I looked into renting a tux. It was actually a little more expensive than I expected. Is the suit fine?
I'm sure you look wonderful.
What will Friday's stream be? Smash Mario Kart? It will actually be Splatoon 2, Haley. But I assume you want a unique dress, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be too expensive, but I I want something that can remind me of the wedding.
There are people in town that make dresses for less than I thought. I'll introduce you and you can choose whatever you want.
Okay.
Guys, can we switch things up?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, go ahead, Gliitchzz.
Alrighty. She didn't need a fancy dress. In fact, the idea of choosing all the little details appealed less than the role the dress would play in creating the perfect moment. But it was such a nice idea that she didn't even mind talking to having someone to talk. My glasses are off because they were smudged. To talk to someone else about it. There we go.
I remember you saying how pictures were important to you, so I've looked into photographers. It's more expensive than I thought. I don't think we'll need them for long. Okay, Colby.
John, we haven't talked about if we're going to invite anyone to our wedding.
His expression became more serious. Though not sad, he nodded slowly.
Yes, we need to talk about that. Setting aside everything except what you want. How many people do you want at our wedding, Lizzie? Of course she wants to, I swear. I'm guessing you don't mean the
All that matters is the two of us, John. We don't need anyone else.
That does simplify things, and since we don't want much of a service, that means we don't need to reserve the venue for as long either.
John, you and me, how many people do you want at our wedding?
I paused for a moment, but she didn't see any fear in his eyes. He reached out to what?
Yeah, that's narration.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good.
Go ahead.
He paused for a moment, but she didn't see any fear in his eyes. He reached out to take her hand, and Lizzie gave it an encouraging squeeze.
Honestly, I wish we could have a few people, but right now there's no one I really want to invite. I mean, we have some friends, but...
Lizzie considered thoughtfully both his word and the implication beneath them.
So there's no problem for the wedding, but in the future, do you need more people?
You'll always be the only one for me, Lizzie. You know that, right?
Of course, John.
She embraced him again. Oh my god. Sorry.
She embraced him again, beaming. In fact, she decided to just stay draped against him while he did a quick total on a sheet of paper and showed it to her.
So, this is our total so far. Pretty manageable. But we haven't talked about rings yet, which could be really expensive.
100 diamonds.
Huh? Really? I mean, the rings will be something we actually wear for a long time. I figured diamonds are traditional.
They're only valuable because of a monopoly. If we learned all about it in one of my classes, they're the kind of thing that normal stupid people think is special. We're much more special than that.
Since John wasn't objecting, Lizzie hopped up and ran to get on to get her notebook. She returned with it, flipping the pages rapidly to get to the one she wanted.
Remember that page? Is it actually about rings?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Johnny designs, but I've been thinking about materials. At first I thought about using high-grade steel, but the thing about steel is that different grades are better for different uses. The idea of using knife steel was kind of nice, but I realized that it was the wrong material. Our relationship is much more durable than that.
Smiling, John put an arm around her and sat back, just enjoying listening to her enthuse about the subject. Oh no, come on, throat, clear up.
For a while, I was thinking of having tungsten carbide rings because it has such a good hardness rating. But tungsten is brittle and impacts can break it, and that's nothing like our relationship at all. So we decided to see that titanium might be best after all.
Mission failed.
It's a
We'll
little
get 'em
more
next time.
common, but it would be strong, and I'd be so happy to see us wearing them.
Doesn't matter if it's common. What matters is that they're the rings we want. Titanium rings are fine with me.
So titanium is much lighter, and while it probably wouldn't make too much difference, I don't want my ring to slow me down at all.
Okay then. You've obviously thought this through. Well, that seems better in all respects, because that means you don't need to pay nearly as much. In fact, we're pretty close to our total. Getting a reservation might be the harder part.
It's okay, I can't wait.
Also, Crane, look at this. Look at my special members-only emotes. Specifically, look at one. But Crane, how you doing? How's it going?
What got emotes?
There are only 2. I had to do one of them because somebody had suggested it. I know that screenshot.
That's okay, I can wait.
And then, yep, there we go. She simultaneously wanted to be married right away and wanted to be able to enjoy the anticipation forever. But one thing she had learned with John was that the anticipation of the thing often paled in comparison to the thing itself. So she was eager for the wedding. That just improved the anticipation, though. For the next several weeks, Lizzie was... Oh, Jesus. Oh no, excuse me. Lizzie was overjoyed. Even handling the minor details of the event was wonderful, to say nothing of the major ones. It all seemed to pass by in a rush, but she relished it and tried to capture every detail in her mind. The old woman who made her dress wasn't so bad and helped Lizzie fill in the details of her vague fantasies. She loved what she saw, though given the schedule, she wouldn't see the finished dress until the wedding day. Getting their rings turned out to be simpler. Just visit a jeweler and await. Their rings were a perfect match except for the size. Until the wedding, they had each held the other's ring. Lizzie found herself clutching it in her hands, often smiling to herself. Focused on the wedding, Lizzie paid little attention to the news. It didn't matter. All that mattered was the 2 of them. Until one day, when that wasn't true anymore. Lizzie was returning home when she heard voices inside. She disliked that, but it wasn't too far out of the ordinary. Speeding up to hear better, she realized that it wasn't anyone inside. It was the television. John occasionally had the news on while he worked, but it was uncommon. She most likely wouldn't even need to tell him to turn it off. So she opened the door with a smile on her face. Inside, she realized that this was not a normal situation. John had a textbook on his lap, but it was forgotten as he stared at the screen. Lizzie hurried to sit beside him and figure out what was going on. Did we ever decide on news anchor?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Then approved for widespread use. Koitech representatives said that demand is likely to outpace the supply, but the corporation will increase production in an effort to provide the devices at the cost of the government and education institutions.
John, what's happening?
Congress rushed through an act in response to the Warnos incident. They're blaming it all on her, saying that increased measures need to be taken to prevent such people from killing anyone else.
A hollow cold began to slide through Lizzie's body. She sat down beside John, but he provided no happy warmth. He was an ally against what she knew was coming.
What kind of increased measures?
Ugh. Pharmaceutical lobbyists have their hands all over the act, so it's going to be increased medication. But that's...
He cut off as the news anchor transitioned to something else, which proved to be Francesca Kelsey making a prepared statement.
Though all of our hearts go out to the families of those who died in the tragedy of Warnos, we must be careful not to take the wrong lessons from this terrible event. None of us will ever know what went through the killer's mind, and we still do not know all the facts surrounding the case. Furthermore, many of the suggestions show a troubling over-reliance on hormones and chemical markers. Already a failing of many corporations, there is a danger of seeking simple answers instead of finding solutions that will...
Her words dissolved into a
Turtle.
meaningless hum. Turtle. Lizzie knew that the calm words advising caution wouldn't have any effect, not when others were panicking and demanding action. She felt slightly guilty for being suspicious of Francesca when she was on campus.
What does the act actually do?
They haven't talked about it, all of it yet, but it sounds like there'll be increased funding for various measures designed to prevent violence. Ostensibly?
Ostensibly. There we go.
Ostensibly.
John took a deep breath, and she was surprised to hear the shudder in it. This was hitting him hard, risking increasing his depression. Lizzie drew him closer to her, stroking his hair, but she knew that it couldn't change the facts of the situation.
Sounds like they're reducing the requirements to move drugs through testing, including on younger populations. Another channel had Kelsey on as a guest earlier, and she was saying it's basically the opposite of what she wanted for the FTCA.
Is that what you were about to say earlier?
No, it's not the worst part. At least not for us. Technology Koitek uses to detect hormonal balance has apparently been improved, and they're going to start distributing it more widely to detect problems before they occur, or so they say.
Lizzie bared her teeth slightly, eyes narrowing. That technology had been what detected John's depression and made them give him that awful Paxatine. And it also accurately detected that she wasn't like other girls. If she had been tested in a social environment like this, who knows what would have happened to her?
It would have been better if we could kill them all.
John glanced at her, but she shook her head determinedly.
I know we can't. It's too late for that anyway. But they're coming after us. It would be better to eliminate them first. Do you think they'll do widespread testing? Try to test everyone?
I don't think they can do anything without anyone's express permission. But parents will probably get their children checked. There are still restrictions on medicating young children, but...
Do you think you'll come here? John?
Hold on. I this through my throat.
It's okay, I just had to do the solid snake thing.
Wait, what's going on in your chat?
Hmm?
Oh, I thought something was going on in your chat.
Oh no. My chat's a little bit quiet right now.
Probably not. Presumably cities will adopt it first and will take much longer to filter the rural areas,
But it would happen eventually. Many things would be changing and there was little they could do about it.
I feel small. These events all happen so far away, without us being able to do anything.
This is the last problem. I could decapitate that one.
Crane the Wolf, to answer your question, no, the time that I talked most to Zalali was, one of the Gmod role plays I did on the Harry Potter server, in which I got blood banned from it. It was great. Her joke didn't even get a smile from John, which made Lizzie's heart sink. She understood why it was having a big effect on him. She just wished she could do something about it.
I don't know, Lizzie. I just don't know. I think this is going to get bad. Sai isn't going to change overnight. But this is just the beginning. Things will be changing. Keep changing.
John, are you alright?
I'll manage. It's just painful to think about the future right now. Everything we tried to do here was useless.
Lizzie pulled him closer, let him rest his head in her lap, and spoke softly and soothingly. She could see the depression descending over him, and though he clung to her and didn't drown in it as he used to, it was the worst incident in a long time. But with John like this, she didn't want to force him to go through with a wedding. Not like this. It was only being postponed. She was certain of that. But she wasn't sure when it would finally happen. For now, all she could do was comfort her John. That's the different menu picture. What? What happened?
Okay. That wasn't even one of the achievement endings. Wow.
That's not nice. They could at least give us an achievement. One ending. Well, actually, we've gotten 3 endings, didn't we? Or did that other one not count?
Don't know. But,
Gallery.
here. Go ahead and pull this guide. I'll go ahead and pull this guide up now.
Alright. Take a quick break then. I'll be right back. I won't throw it on the intermission screen, so don't wait.
Right.
No, if I throw it on the intermission screen, it wouldn't interrupt your stuff. Yeah, that's right, it wouldn't. Okay, so I could do the intermission screen then. People won't be able to hear you talk easily, though.
Alright, that's fine.
Alrighty.
There we go, guys. There's one more ending that I didn't think would be an ending, sort of say. Now I just gotta figure out how we're gonna do the rest of this stream. Okay, hold on. Okay. How is everyone's Tuesday going? I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. People in let's just chat in my chat. Hey, it's Day. I've never seen a daytime live stream. Yeah. Let's just never streams. High-five back at you, John. Guys, you know who's missing the live stream right now? Frickin' Thunder. Where's Thunder at? Where's our boy Thunder at? He's the one that loves these streams. But he's not here. Alright, see you later, Crane. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Who knows where Thunderwing is? But yeah, I have a guide up, guys, on how to do the rest of this. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. I'll stop. So, got it. So, alright. So, this is going to be our last run. This is going to get us all the achievements, including Library Fun, where if you turn on the adult content, there's a sex scene. But we cannot do that because it shows a PP, and you guys know PPs are not allowed on streams, otherwise stream gets cut off immediately. And yeah. And there's also another ending too. I feel like we should say the best ending for last though. We should say the best ending for last. So we're gonna do this ending right here. What are you doing next? We're gonna do this ending called protecting him. It's very short. Like there's we kill the track teams to be safe, encourage the track team, and yeah. That is the end we're gonna do, and then we're gonna do the wedding ending. But right now we're waiting on Gliitchzz to come back. I was not expecting that to be an ending. Let me turn my light on, guys. It's getting kind of dark. There we go. Now we got some decent lighting in here. Oh my gosh, the title for Gliitchzz freaking thumbnail. Crimson Gray, Dusk Dawn. Dragon and I go deeper into this relationship. Oh Lord, Gliitchzz, I love you, dude. Alright. We got one of the endings. So there's an ending where you kill a girl. There's an ending where John basically becomes a vegetable again. Sorta, kinda.
All right, there we go. I'm back.
Nice.
We figure out if that was the end.
There's two more possible endings.
All right, we got to find out which is the easiest to load from then.
Both of them are going to require a full reset.
Oh.
But we're going to do we're going to save the best for last.
Alrighty.
Which is the wedding, obviously. So let's go ahead and start a new save. Okay, let me look at this guide. It clearly tells you how to do it.
Awesome.
Start a new game. Review story so far. Kill the track. Okay, kill the track team. Good start.
Couldn't we just hit skip and it'll... That's great that you're happy,
yeah.
Bleach. If we hit skip, it'll take us to the first decision, won't it?
It will. Let's do that.
It did.
Alright. I forget that it does this.
It's taking my mouse.
Alright, so... You want to do narration? Or redone parts or no?
We'll do parts that we haven't done before, but which one do we need to click?
Oh, kill track team.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome. Apparently we've done this one before because the skip button's still active.
Alright, so, okay. I skipped to it.
Okay.
So now it says... This is the part where I think we're going to have to read. We gotta choose encourage him.
Okay.
Yeah, the skip is not being allowed. Okay.
Yep.
No, Sometimes I just miss you so much I have to stop by.
Well, never mind seeing you.
I'm so glad you've been seeming kind of down lately. Let me know if there's ever anything I can do.
You're already incredible, Lizzie. I'm glad to have you.
Lizzie leaned in closer and kissed him again.
I'll be back after class. Maybe tonight we'll both have some free time, okay?
John smiled and kissed her back. The shadow in his eyes was gone, which made a new warmth flow through Lizzie's chest. Though she longed to stay, she knew that it was better to go to class. Maximizing time in the short term would only hinder their long-term objectives, and she wanted as much of him as she could possibly get. Lizzie headed to their bedroom and traded one spiral notebook for another, feeling a moment of guilt at the deception. But no, it was better this way. She could take the burden onto herself and leave his life lighter. She left with a kiss and a cheery wave, but then crept around the side of the apartment. She had left a little earlier than necessary to arrive to class on time for this very purpose. Why is the skip button active again?
It is because I think we're back into the regular scenario, but...
Oh, some of it interlaps, I see.
Yeah.
So then do we just continue or do we skip?
I would continue just to keep it, like, understanding.
Okay. From the perfect angle, she could see him through the window, going back to his books, studying so seriously to help them have a better life together. Lizzie didn't try to hide the broad smile on her face, just spent a while watching him. There was less need to watch him now than that they were together, but she still enjoyed it. Once she had been observed and the other girl had made the despicable assumption that Lizzie was concerned that he would cheat on her, as if such a thing was possible, as if she needed any reason except to look at him. She did like to observe him sometimes to make sure he wasn't sad again. John's depression was mostly under control now that he had abandoned the awful Quote tech medicine, but she knew it was a part of him that needed to be watched. The thought of his inner sadness made Lizzie want to run back inside and kiss him again, forget class and just spend the time making love until he looked only happy and relaxed. Reluctantly, Lizzie pulled herself away, chewing on one finger. John might be mentally healthy, but he still needed protection. Her mind flashed back to the track team and the other threats on campus. She would make sure that nothing could interfere with their love. She arrived a little late, but it was a relaxed university. No one cared too much. Lizzie carefully set out her books and focused on the lesson. There were worse things than classes. If the universe declared that she couldn't spend every single moment with him, she needed something else to fill her time. With a few exceptions like psychology, classes weren't obnoxious at all. A few even provided knowledge that might have utility in the future. And all of it had some utility in getting them closer to their degrees. Once it had been difficult for Lizzie to think about such long-term plans, but now she could see how both of them earning degrees would help them create the life they wanted. But after that, things became more tangled in her mind. She wanted to be with him. She wanted whatever he wanted. But he was convinced that they should take jobs in the industry, play some small role in preventing pharmaceutical giants like Koitek from doing anything as terrible as they'd done at their old high school, or the experiment they had done that had led to Lizzie's existence. The idea that John wanted to make sure there would never be anyone else like her, that she would be the only one. It made her tingle all over. She didn't think he would approve of the thought, but she liked it so much that she kept it to herself. But the idea of getting involved with Koitek again, even indirectly, still left her... She wanted what he wanted, of course, a life together. They would have that, no matter what they chose. It would be fine. For once, Lizzie set such thoughts aside and focused fully on class. After the lecture finished, Lizzie practically skipped out of the hall. It had been her last class of the day, and John had likely finished the work that he needed to do in the computer lab. That left them the rest of the day to themselves.
Hey, Nightshame.
Hey, Nightshame, how you doing? How's it going?
Hey, Nightshame.
Hey, Nightshame. Yeah, we'll just keep going deeper. I can't. Gosh. It's been a while since I seen Nightshame in chat. I gotta get on his stuff. Oh boy.
You need
So
a
she
break?
wouldn't have to. Oh, what?
You need a break?
Oh no, I just needed to get some more Gatorade in my gullet.
Gotcha.
So she wouldn't have to leave him again. Lizzie stopped by the store first. Since they were low on food, it hurt her pride as a cook that they had to eat ramen, but money was tight. The least she could do was purchase cheap vegetables and enhance the experience. As she picked out appropriate ones, Lizzie carefully kept track of her spending versus the amount of money she had left. She had aged out of child support. Not that the man who had impregnated her mother had ever been reliable, which, combined with college expenses, left her in a more difficult financial situation than ever before in her life. She was careful to add everything up in her head so that she still had enough money to drop by the pharmacy after getting their groceries. There was a small locally owned one where she felt comfortable getting John's depression medication, though it seemed to be getting more and more expensive these days. Of course, she did still own Abby's home in their hometown, but Lizzie wanted to avoid anything to do with it in case Koitek was watching, and John would never want to live there anyway. Perhaps after they graduated, she could sell the house for a down payment on one of their own. That idea gave her a pleasant hum of emotions as she finished her errands and headed back home, still with a spring in her step. But when Lizzie arrived, she found the door locked. She quickly pulled out her key, adding another scratch mark to the lock before successfully opening it. The apartment was empty, briefly making her heart hammer in her chest. There was a note on the table, and she seized it, eyes flickering over the words. John had gone to the computer lab and said he hoped to be back before she was, but that it might be longer, so she had an explanation. But even as Lizzie breathed a sigh of relief, part of her mind began to churn with other thoughts. What if this was some kind of excuse? No. John would never do such a thing. Never. Lizzie crumpled the paper in her hands, then nervously tried to smooth it out again. John would never betray her. She knew that now, carried that fact tightly in her heart. But the world was filled with awful people, terrible women who might try to seduce him. And even if he pushed them away, the idea of one of them laying a hand on him. What if Koitek got a hold of him somehow? They'd already tried it once, to use him to get to her. She thought they were safe now, but what if she was wrong? Once Lizzie might have flown out the door and hunted him down until she could be sure that he was safe. Now, she found herself pacing, fingers tangling in her hair as she tried to quiet the thoughts screaming in her head. On a whim, Lizzie grabbed the extra spiral notebook she'd taken and slapped it down on the table. She began furiously writing everything in her head, letting the thoughts out to give herself a little relief. She'd done this once before she had met him. Just like she collected pictures of him. Now that she had the real thing, she neglected such habits. But they had helped her once. Perhaps they could again. Finally, she was done. Lizzie took a deep breath and looked over the page of furious scribbling. Some of the thoughts there embarrassed her. She needed to trust him utterly, but it was good to get them out of her head and onto paper. She felt calm again, and the memory wafted from the deep recesses of her soul. The place where she kept him, comforting her even now. Though the page was a mess, she had returned from the edge. Lizzie realized that she was gripping a knife in her other hand.
Bless you.
Thank you, that was a weird line. After a pause, she set it down. Though her mind was clear, she still wasn't sure what to do. Obviously, John would never cheat on her. He had been very considerate to leave a note, and no doubt that explained the situation. It was also unlikely that anything terrible had happened to him. She still missed him, though, and wanted to drown the rest of her fears in his presence. It was possible that he would be unhappy if his work had gone on too long, and might be happy to see her. Lizzie closed the notebook and put it with her others, considering what she should do. Investigate the track team. Let it go.
Let me see what it says. It says investigate the track team.
Realizing that she had... Oh,
We have a new
What?
dialogue. We have new dialogue.
yay! New dialogue's always good. Oh gosh, there we go. Realizing that she had higher priorities, Lizzie set about considering her options. The track team was definitely the place to start, but she needed to consider her options carefully. Making her way back to the track, Lizzie reconsidered the situation rationally. Obviously not the entire track team was guilty, but some of them might be suspicious. But wouldn't be able to touch John. The best way through this was via targeted strikes. After watching for long enough, Lizzie knew exactly who she needed to remove. There was an attractive blonde girl who stretched unnecessarily between runs to show off her assets. And her eyes wondered, yes, it would be best to start with her. It would have been immensely satisfying to isolate her and take care of her directly, ideally with an axe in hand. But that would be difficult to hide, and she needed to preserve their life longer. For several days, Lizzie skipped some of her classes, watching the girl's schedule. She had a car she kept in the east parking lot and frequently drove out of town. It seemed she wasn't a particularly careful driver, and didn't wear a seatbelt either, so it would be easy to set everything up. Sheba boy, how you doing? How's it going? The only problem with cutting her brake lines was that the girl would notice while backing out. That wouldn't do it all. While considering this problem, Lizzie acquired gloves, checked for cameras, and made other preparations.
Lizzie, is everything okay?
Lizzie abruptly realized that she had been scribbling her plans at home in front of him. John didn't look suspicious because he trusted her, but he knew something was wrong. She felt a surge of love that he knew her so well. She realized that she had made a mistake letting him see. She needed to hide everything deep inside her, at least until she could remove the problem.
Everything's fine, John. There have just been some mean girls in class that have really upset me lately.
I see. You can always talk to me, Lizzie. You know that, right?
Of course!
But she couldn't talk to him about this. Not about that horrible girl. No, she needed to take care of this herself. To protect them. Lizzie gave John her sweetest smile. She could be stronger than this. Swallow the stress and show him only all the love that she had to offer. Then he wouldn't be sad, and she could eliminate the problem. They could have a happy college days together. A week later, she had her opportunity. A sporting event filled the eastern parking lot, making her target park on a side street, where there would be no need to brake. Lizzie hummed romantically to herself as she drained the brake fluid, disabling the emergency brake and manipulating the pedal until it felt natural. Then she retreated to a safe distance and watched as everything went according to plan. The crash was less dramatic than she expected, but it was enough. She was certain of it, even though she had to restrain herself from going to check, because that might have cast suspicion on her, and she couldn't let anything ruin their relationship. But things were better now. The terrible girl was gone, and John wouldn't notice anything, and she could love him forever. Now there was nothing left to do but make happy college memories. Protecting him!
Yep, that ending was very short.
Alright, fresh restart again.
Yep, and this will be the last ending and the best ending.
Yeah!
And this one is very in-depth. Okay, so it says... Review story so far, pick everything but the first choice. Alright. Oh, and this one we get to do the library fund.
Ooh. So anything but kill the track team works?
Yes. Let me go ahead and look at the review story so far. Yep. What did you choose?
I guess we can go with Let It Go, Lizzie.
Let it go, Lizzie? Alright.
That's a hard one to click.
You can use your arrow keys too.
Oh. There we go. Got it all done. Ooh, new dialogue too. Do people want us to switch, or do I continue onwards?
I can go on. If people want us to switch it up. What does chat think? What does chat think during this day stream?
Uh-oh.
Not really? Alright, I guess I'll take over.
Okay.
Lizzie gripped her forehand with both hands, forcing the thought away. She didn't need to do that anymore. Already acted old dialogue. The hollowness within her grew. Fortunately, Little Art was nearby. Split home provided a housing for couples. It's taken seriously work to obtain one despite not being married. As the fools in admission stopped, there was a chance she and John might break up. Since it was 2:52, John was likely to be reading for a class. He had referenced the paper being due soon, but he never went down to the computer lab until she was in class. After all, he knew that she might need him. His consideration made a warm glow spread through Lizzie. But that wasn't enough. She needed to see him. She had her key in hand, and she approached the door, but it was already unlocked, almost as if he had known. Lizzie threw it open and rushed inside. John sat on the couch, reading a textbook. He looked perfect, and then he glanced up at the noise and saw her there, gasping for breath with her eyes wild. He just gave a confirming smile. Everything alright, Lizzie?
Yes, it is. I just forgot a book I needed for class.
She swept up to him and wrapped her arms around his shoulders to give a slow kiss. The sight of him calmed her considerably, and Lizzie tried to keep the desperation out of a kiss. Yes, this warm intimacy with him was what she needed. There was no sense giving him anything to worry about. She had found him, her perfect person. Lizzie drew back slightly and rested her forehead against his. Her heart filled with warmth, and his melody strong in her mind once again. I love you, Lizzie. It made her heart flutter just as much as the first time he'd said it.
I love you too, John, more than anything.
But as happy as she was to reply, she sensed something wasn't quite right. There was a bit of a tension in his eyes. Was he carrying some weight? Depression? Had someone done something to him? No, Lizzie realized that wasn't it. He was looking at her with concern, having sensed some part of her neediness. It was wonderful that he was so attentive, but the idea that she could have caused him any pain broke her heart. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Alright, now which choice?
We need to explain fully.
Okay.
Well, there's this couple.
He explained the encounter, hesitating a moment to give her full thoughts, but eventually sharing as expected. He wasn't disturbed by her fears and didn't tell her that she was wrong. Dawn had been through too much with her, after all.
You think it was nothing unusual?
Judging from what you said, you just sound lonely to me. They probably just want to find people they have something in common with.
Maybe.
Okay, I remember this talk so well. Let's skip this.
I don't have a skip button.
You don't?
No.
Okay. But
That's weird.
But even if that's true, I still don't want them anywhere near us. They're probably stupid evil people, John. All we need is the two of us.
just the two of us. He smiled ruefully, but there was a real affection in his expression too. John pulled her into a quick embrace and squeezed her tight. If that's how you feel, you don't need to interact with other people. I kind of want to keep my head down and graduate anyway.
I agree.
She cuddled with him for a moment longer, nestling her head against his chest, then reluctantly pulled back, watching her hair as it clung to him. Though she longed to stay, she knew it would be better to go to class. Maximizing time in a short time will only hinder their long-term objectives.
Now I have a skip button.
You do?
Yeah, now I do.
Okay, let's skip it.
Okay.
Because that's just... I remember that conversation so well. I don't want to read it again.
There's a possibility I might have clicked a different one, and that's why I didn't have the skip button earlier. That's odd.
Probably. Okay. Start making dinner. That's new dialogue because we went to go meet him library at the computer lab last time. Oh,
That's-
I know why. Because off screen, I was like testing it. That's why.
Oh, okay. There we go.
That's why.
Which one is it? Start making dinner?
Yes, start making dinner. It made her anxious not to take action. Lizzie kept herself from leaving. Instead, she set about making dinner, trying not to watch the door or listen too closely for his arrival. Lizzie set about cutting up the vegetables, removing the bad portions, reducing the rest to appetizing chunks. Her knife flickered satisfyingly, perfectly balanced for her hand. They might need to make do in many ways, but she had excellent kitchen knives to work with. Even when money was tight, even most tight. I swear that a capital P always gets me.
Yeah.
Even when money was tight, he had never suggested selling her knife collection. She would have gladly sold every knife and every single thing she owned for his sake. Knife still flying, Lizzie frowned to herself. No, that wasn't right. She'd need for axe and a few knives to defend him properly. Plus, John wouldn't want to give up everything like that. Considering such a warm thoughts, Lizzie flipped her knife around her hand a few necessary times as she finished cutting. Not the kind of thing she would do in public, but at home there was no one to see her but John, and he wouldn't be afraid of her. It might be too early to cook anything, so Lizzie set the chopped vegetables aside and converted the rest into a salad. She smiled to herself, but realized as she was out of preparations, her gaze wandered toward the door. Fortunately, at that very moment, she heard his footsteps outside. Lizzie was torn between rushing to greet him and waiting by her work, which made her hesitate long enough for him to enter. Sorry, I got held back.
That's no problem at all. I've gotten things ready for dinner.
Looks like you've been busy. I'm really hungry. So is eating early fine?
Of course.
Since she'd done her preparations already, Lizzie just set the water on to boil and add a few other flourishes. John set the table and she beamed at him, happy to be working together. Eventually they both sat down together on opposite sides on their small table. It was nothing much, but it was theirs, and that was wonderful. She would have been happy to just watch him eat, but she knew that he loved to talk to her even more. The idea that he wanted to open herself up to him, even her darkest thoughts, always made her happy. But for today, she had nothing particularly dark on her mind.
So, you implied that you got held up at the lab?
Mostly it was nothing unusual. Just had to answer some questions. Dan caught me at the end, wanted me to switch shifts at the library. He wanted me to do it tonight, which I said wouldn't work. So we had to do some weird rescheduling.
Hasn't that been happening a lot lately?
Yeah, and I might be picking up even more shifts. Figure it can't hurt, right? No, but she didn't like him to be away from home more often. Lizzie had to admit that the library job was a good one, allowing him to study and read most of the time, but she didn't like it. At least she could visit him without it being a hindrance. Why did he feel the need to do work so much, though? Well, we already know why.
Exactly.
Wedding preparations. Lizzie had her own campus job, and the numbers of their debt weren't too awful thanks to scholarships. Would it be better if they could get rid of it? Maybe she can consider going back to the house and selling it after all. Though she considered asking him all those questions, she decided to hold back. John had many concerns of his own. And adding her anxiety to those might make him depressed again. She was stronger, so it was better for her to shoulder the burden. After dinner, they moved to the couch to work. It was a rowdy old thing that got off a curb, but it was fairly soft and served to hold them. They sat on opposite sides, each with their textbooks, their feet touching in between. Inky. just being able to He's so near him, so comfortably. Lizzie slid her feet against his leg and gave him a bright smile when he looked up at her. An old part of her wanted to act immediately, to have sex before the moment could pass. But they had been together for 2 years, and moments like this were hardly a rare thing. Slowly, her mind had learned that she didn't need to be desperate. The life she wanted with him was filled with moments like this, too. Despite her thoughts circling around him, Lizzie finished her homework rather quickly. Because of it, in a sense, there was a purpose to have so many activities that had once been going through the motions. Lizzie saw he was still busy working and spent a little while admiring him. She loved the look of concentration as he became fully absorbed with something. It was even better when it was directly toward her. But just his concentration was cute too. She could have watched forever. But once she got her fill, Lizzie stood up. Someone on the cheek and headed to the other side of the apartment. They didn't have a lot of space, but there was enough for her to retrieve her axe from the cupboard and experiment with a little. She hadn't experienced any more physical instability since the incident, leaving her capable of protecting him. But she needed to be cautious. Though she didn't like to think about it, Lizzie had to admit that there was a small chance she could hurt John by accident. Even if they never had serious conflict with Koitek again, she needed her knives to feel secure. The idea she might cause slight injury by accident. Lizzie practiced carefully, both following through with all the force she could muster and bringing the axe to a halt at a moment's notice. Practice was soothing. Lizzie soon found herself smiling. There had been a time in her life after she found him. It had been possible when it had been possible that she might harm him or preserve their love. Those thoughts now struck her as an alien horrible. She would never hurt him. Never! This meant she needs to be prepared. Lizzie finished. She discovered that John was watching her. She had no doubt that her expression was far from inviting, as she'd been imagining cutting down threats to them. But she was watching her fondly. Lizzie beamed at him and returned her axe to its place.
Are you done studying?
For tonight, yeah. There's no point doing more, since I can read at work tomorrow.
Then...
She drifted closer to him, smile broadening as she poured over his face. He wasn't too tired. He'd made a point of saying his work was done. And though he had been watching her with a gentle affection, she knew there was more there. Lizzie eagerly slid down into his lap, her body pressing up against his. Soon she could feel the proof of his desire in his pants. And she cooed happily. But though he put his arms around her waist, her eyes still watched her carefully. I know you need to be up to get. I know you need to get up. I know you need to get up early tomorrow, though. Do you want to?
Let
me see.
Yeah.
Have sex. Obviously have sex.
Oh, good.
It was wet and sticky, yes. Grinning, Lizzie leaned in closer and kissed him. There had been so many small kisses throughout the day, each adding a little warmth inside her, and now she returned it all, kissing him deeply and passionately. Do you want to skip this? We already did this.
Yeah, we can skip this. Hello, Atomic Strike. How you? Oh, whoa, what?
What? Is it not? What happened?
Mine broke a little bit.
What the heck happened? I guess it got reset?
I just ignored all the problems until it went away. Story of my life. Story of my bills.
There we go.
So are you on the part where it says too late?
Let me see. Did you hear the knock yet? Just skip through it.
My skips have put me back. Oh, god damn it.
Are you at the part where it says investigate?
Everyone in the room, ignore targets and find John.
Alright, so it says ignore others and find John.
There we go.
Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. I need to go back. Well, okay, let's get out of skip mode. Hold up. Crap. Crap. Let me, like, do a... Hold on. Let me just start over really quick.
Okay.
Okay. Let it go, Lizzie. Explain fully. Start making dinner. Sex. Okay. It's still oh my. Okay, I'm gonna have to not skip and just press space fast. Because it keeps rolling through this crap, like, very fast. New story so far. Sorry, guys. Just need to do this. Let it go, Lizzie. Plain fully. Making dinner. Sex. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay. Okay. So many options presented at Thomas to her. Lizzie decided to take the simplest, best be prepared, but not to do anything that might disturb John. That left her feeling a little more confident in herself. Lizzie still searched for his voice in the crowd and focused on him. Wait, did we already do this?
I have a skip button.
You do? Alright, skip that. That was a lot of clicking? Yeah, it was. Take John's idea, is what it says.
There it is. Take John's idea. Okay.
Your idea sounded fun, John. Let's do that.
Is there a skip button for you?
Oh. What?
Is there a skip button for you, or no?
There is not.
Okay, awesome. Okay, keep going.
That stuff is heavy. I'm gonna end up making him do all the work.
I can provide real support.
Are you okay, Nick? That was so much clicking. Yeah, I had to get to a certain part, and it kept, like, skipping without me wanting it to. So that's why. Oh, did you read the part that said hee hee? Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Girl rolled her eyes at them, but didn't try to interview any further. Mine kept breaking, his kept skipping. Yep. The girl's eyes rolled her eyes at them, but didn't try to interfere any further. After signing up and getting the appropriate key, that left Lizzie and John to head to the supply room he referenced. What's our next choice, by the way? Ooh.
What?
All I'm gonna say is ooh. In the old art building, they head down one of the lesser used hallways, her arms still linked with his. Being alone together in a place like this brought lovely ideas to mind. Since they were helping a cause that mattered to him, Lizzie restrained herself. Before too long, they reached the room, which John unlocked. The room inside was reasonably large, but filled with years of ancient desks, cabinets, and other furniture, not to mention a host of random boxes. Nobody wanted this job because These old cabinets are ridiculously heavy. I'm guessing that won't be a problem, though. Lizzie stepped over to one of them and pressed her hand against the side, tipping experimentally. Metal groaned and dust flew from the cabinet, but didn't feel particularly heavy.
There's nobody watching, right?
Nah, people don't usually come here. We're only using it because most of the real meeting rooms are booked that night.
Then I'll take care of it, no problem.
They have a recycling guy coming for the metal. We just need to take, not back. Nodding, Lizzie moved to the cabinet that was most in the way of the others and picked it up without difficulty. The box that had been set on top of it tilted to the side, and John snagged it before it could fall. Smiling thanks at him, Lizzie carried the cabinet out of the door he had referenced and left at the edge of the back lot. Being made of metal, it was indeed heavier than average, but not really a challenge for her strength. They soon found a good rhythm working together, which made Lizzie glow inside. She handled all the heaviest furniture, while John organized the rest and cleared off boxes, other materials that would get in her way. Her strength hadn't been something that she'd ever given much thought. When she was growing up, I might need to break here a little bit.
Okay.
When she was growing up, first something had been hidden to avoid attention, and then an advantage been cultivated. It had never been something that brought her any joy. It had changed. The day she had saved him from falling, since then, she had realized that she could use it to protect him. There had really only been a few brief moments where she had used her strength to its full potential. But she was just as happy for simple things like this as well. The two of them, working to move so many things, it reminded her of when they moved into their apartment together, and that made her imagine them moving into an actual home of her own, which was a wonderful thought. She would be overjoyed for that, no matter the circumstances, but it would be most wonderful if it happened after they were married. The tradition seemed meaningless for her in isolation, but the idea of doing it with John? Such thoughts carried Lizzie happily through the rest of their work. It made her frequently smile over at John, and he smiled back, seeming much lighter than she had seen from recent days. Lizzie didn't even mind that they were preparing for Francesca to come to speak, working toward it together with him. It didn't seem like such a bad idea after all.
John, can you help me with these? The desks are too long for one person to carry, not without damaging something.
Oh, so that's why you've been skipping them. Sure, I'll try. He acted, though, as he might not be able to help. But of course, he came to his sister, and it really was true that she needed his help. That's surprising.
Yeah.
She would have wanted him to feel condescended. As strong as she was, there was just no good way to carry a desk alone. Between the two of them, there was no trouble at all to move the desks and finish clearing the room. Plus, you got to watch him on the other side of the desk. Where she's a creep. He was used to her gaze and didn't mind it, though he needed to focus on their path more than she did to avoid running into things. When at last they finished, the room was still dusty and stuffy, but at least it was empty. Yeah. More time had passed than she expected. John didn't seem as surprised, but she was glad to see the slight smile on his face. It's not much, but we did our part to help. It wasn't a problem for you, wasn't it? Was it?
No, John, thanks for thinking of this.
Having said that, I'm definitely ready to head home.
Me too.
Though they were both a little dusty, Lizzie didn't hesitate to link her arm with his and lean against him as they walked home. Getting cleaned up together might be fun. Ooh.
Oh, whoa.
And here's the music again. When her schedule went unusually well, Lizzie found herself actually somewhat troubled. She had no reading for classes. The shopping had gone quickly, and nothing had slowed her down. That meant that she had a surprising amount of extra time. And then one night, John needed to work late at the library.
You've done this part.
I have?
Yeah, I got the skip button.
Ah ha 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 ha.
So this is the part then when she spies on him in the library. Do we want to skip then, or do we want to? What?
Are you in the part where it says have some fun? Just watch him, try to see what he's writing.
There we go. Now I am. I didn't hit skip yet.
This is why I laughed.
Oh, having some fun. Just watch him. Try to see what he's writing.
This is the part where it'll show PP if you have adult content on. So make sure your adult content is off.
I'm just click options. Adult content's off. Okay. So let's have some fun then.
Yes, time to get our oogly. Lizzie smiled and approached him, making sure to make enough noise for him to hear. She wished that she was wearing something sexier than sweatpants and a t-shirt. But it'll be fine. John looked up and smiled. Oh, glad to see you. Nothing to do at home either, huh?
I did everything already. You don't seem too busy either.
She shifted her posture, leaning on his desk and arching her back toward him strategically. She's playing this out, my lord. Her smile shifted from pure happiness to pure desire. The effect was not lost on him. Wow, you look great, but I'm supposed to be working right now.
You're supposed to help people come who go to the library, right? I'm the only one who needs something right now.
Library fun achievement! Yay!
I'm the only one who needs something right now. Oh my gosh, they cleaned up and pulled their clothes back on, put their clothes back on in a hurry. Oh. So there would have been extra dialogue right there if the adult content was on.
Well, penis dialogue.
Yep. Dialogue that we cannot read on stream or have on stream.
Yep.
Then head back to the main desk. Anyone who saw them, bodies flushed, clothes askew, would have known exactly what they had done. And that fact made Lizzie immensely happy. There was no one there, of course. Insert pee-pee music. Yep. The library was every bit as empty as it had been before. She had expected John to look relieved, but he actually didn't seem to care, just smiling at her. You want to stick around? Wasn't getting much done anyway.
Sure.
She spent the rest of his shift alongside him, occasionally reading, but often just leaning against him and breathing his scent. Okay. You could still smell what they had done. And it was a wonderful reminder.
Oh no.
Lord have mercy, man.
Not a good smell.
You gotta love sexual writing. Also wonderful that, man, Thunder missed out on this. Damn.
Yeah, I know, right?
Also wonderful was that the tension seemed to have eased from him. Being together had been exactly what he needed, making Lizzie undoubtedly glad that she had given in. Switcheroo.
Alright, when the shift finally ended, John locked up and then they headed home together. As they walked, Lizzie was surprised to feel his hand slide down from her waist, caressing her curves. Maybe they weren't done after all. Lizzie eagerly pulled him home faster. Ooh! Life proceeded normally enough. They went back to stuff that we've already done. Do we want to skip?
Yeah, sure.
Let's skip one.
I'm gonna guess that black screen was them banging. because of the dialogue. But yeah, let's go ahead and skip. Oh, new dialogue.
Yeah, it was weird. It's just a few bits here and there. It's like 3 new dialogues, it seemed like.
Yeah. Alright, go ahead.
We have just a teensy problem. Can I go back?
Since their time?
Because I skipped through them because there's been a couple times because of my save file mess-ups in the past where there was dialogue we've already done.
I'll go ahead and read it then.
Okay.
My game mat, there it is. Since their time together, clearing out the room had gone well. They kept participating together. It hadn't all been as much fun as that, but Lizzie didn't mind the time preparing, and John seemed positively engaged by all of it. But when she came home from class one day, she realized that she might have gotten it entirely wrong. John slumped on the couch, too unfocused to notice her. There was an emptiness in his eyes, and she hadn't seen in a long time, immediately making her heart hammer in her chest. John? Oh, sorry.
John, are you okay? Is something wrong?
I'm just a little tired. There's not a problem or anything.
Of course there's a problem if you're not feeling okay.
Oh, you're reading my stream. That's how you're saying that.
No. That's exactly why.
You don't have to pretend to smile for me, John. It's okay to be sad sometimes.
Thank you, Lizzie. It's nothing specific. I'm just having a bad day.
Then stay right there and don't worry about anything.
Okay, the skip button's there for me now. I want to skip.
Okay.
Oh. Good dialogue.
I haven't been pushing you too much, have I? It was so much fun when we worked together before, so...
No, I didn't mean that at all. There's just so much to do.
I know you want to help, but you know your limits, right? You can't help others if you're not okay.
You're right. Thanks, Lizzie.
Lizzie thought that their conversation had gone well, but she was plagued by doubt. She hadn't noticed this depression incoming, hadn't been able to prevent it. She began going over every interaction in minute detail, wondering where she had neglected something. Lizzie realized that she needed to get out of her head. If she let herself keep thinking that way, she would end up spending the evening developing elaborate plans to kill someone or kidnap John to safety. She needed to do something, but what?
Alright, now I'm at where you're
Bam!
at.
Exactly where I'm at.
It says to be quietly supportive.
Okay.
Which we
Lizzie
have
decided
already
that...
done.
What?
Wait, do you have skip button or no?
I do.
Alright, let's skip it then.
Holy crap, that was a lot of skip.
Oh, you saved your Francesca voice.
Thank God. Yes. I remember this screen.
Hold on. You gotta do a specific thing on this screen. Da-da-da.
Ah, I found it. Don't kill her yet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Don't kill her yet. Yes, that's the choice.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Taking a deep breath, Lizzie maintained control for John's sake and answered calmly. Switchy, how you doing? How's it going?
I don't think it's your place to meddle with our relationship.
Yeah, no, this is just like what we were talking about last week. Either he doesn't know and you're creepy as hell, or he does and you have some kind of weird codependent relationship. If you can't see what you need help, you need someone to help you.
You didn't say things like that.
Look, I'm just applying what we're...
John is a kind person. He wouldn't judge me like you do.
Then he's just enabling your condition. Lizzie took a deep breath and took a moment to think. Uh-oh.
Hold on.
We've had all these options before. That's weird.
Yes, but we had to do dialogue.
Oh, that's true too.
End the conversation and tell John all about it.
But it says quickly acquire napalm.
I almost pressed that one. Go down a little lower.
It got close. Only your promises.
Yeah.
What?
I almost clicked napalm too. Wait, the skip button's there for me.
Yes, it's there for me too.
Alright, skip. Oh.
There was
Always
one
here for you, Lizzie.
And then the skip button's back.
I swear, it's so random. Just little tidbits.
It is weird.
Okay, skip.
All right.
Okay. Where are we at?
Reassure him.
We are
Ask him.
at- Explain the thoughts that went into the notebook. We did not do that. Or did we? Did not do that.
And it's explain.
Yeah, explain.
You mentioned the terrible girl from psych class, all the awful things she said about us.
Lizzie flipped to the page about after that event had occurred. Pages, actually. She had forgotten how much she had written after that, though now it was crystal clear to her.
After it happened, I felt everything. I hate her, John. I still wish I could get rid of her.
But you won't, right?
No, writing it down, it captures what I'm feeling somehow. When I look over it again, I remember all the emotions, but there's some distance now. They're not as strong inside me.
I think I get that. Maybe it's a healthy thing. Though I do worry that sometimes you get yourself more worked up writing out your thoughts.
It doesn't have to be writing, John. I get the same effect from talking to you. And it's better that way, not just because I'm talking to you, but because you always have new thoughts and interesting things to say. And sometimes I think about things differently.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm always here to talk, Lizzie.
I know. It's wonderful. But I don't have to share everything, do I? Sometimes what I'm thinking is just silly and it doesn't matter. I don't want to waste your time.
He considered that very seriously, then pulled her a little closer with a smile.
You can tell me anything at all, Lizzie. But don't feel obligated. Unless you don't have a working brain. Everyone has tons of minor thoughts. They just pass through your mind. They don't matter unless you focus on them. I mean, I have a lot of dumb little thoughts. There's no point sharing.
That's not true. I'd love to see every single thought you ever think.
Of course you do, Lizzie. I believe you. Of course you do, John. But since it's not the world we live in, we can just talk to each other, okay?
She eagerly nodded and pressed herself against him even closer. She was right to talk to him. John always had good things to say. But as warm as things were between them, Lizzie felt a bit of hesitation. When she looked at his face, she saw something shift and realized that there was something less pleasant he wanted to bring up. Had something in the notebook upset him? Her heart began hammering in her chest.
Is your button there?
It absolutely is. Oh, that's a lot of skips. Knock, 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 knock.
Oh. Only?
Only.
Are you at only?
Yeah, it knocked for me, but I don't have my skip button active.
Do you have the only? Only then did Lizzie?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Only then did Lizzie realize that she had her knife in her hand. She had a strong instinct to shield John, defend him from the girl. She managed to restrain herself and set the knife aside a few inches out of reach.
You okay, Lizzie?
I will be fine, but we need to keep watching.
Reflecting on her reactions, Lizzie scooted up against John and focused on the broadcast. It's the news incident with the other Yandere.
Yep. I don't think this will change anything.
Do I hit? Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, that was dialogue.
Oh, your skip went a little bit farther than mine. Yeah.
Whoops-a-daisy.
It's all good. She was surprised by John's bleak tone, but when she looked over to him, she saw that his eyes were calm, though sometimes he became too depressed and saw the world as darker than it really was. At other times, his vision seemed clearer than many others.
You know what really happened, but will the public make the connection? Looks like Koitek is already on top of things. They might even use this as an argument for why their drugs are needed more. Not murderers like this.
Oh,
You may be right, but
Saw that image where she looked at the camera. That's going to be it's going to be all over the news. I guarantee it. Became the new face of any social problem people want to blame on younger generations. Maybe things will take a positive turn from here, but I doubt it.
John, I hope it doesn't go that way, but I'm inclined to believe you.
they leaned against one another for a while, John touching his face to her hair and breathing in slowly. I have the skip button.
So do I.
It skipped one.
It literally skipped one line.
As she calmed down, Lizzie was able to admit that any real threat would likely be slower and social. Her calm also let her notice John's mood more precisely. It seemed like John was fine, though his eyes were very serious. He was always more prone to sadness, and she imagined his thoughts were grim, but they didn't seem to be crushing him. They sat there, both somewhat tense, until John glanced over at her with a slight grin.
Your murderous laughter was much cuter. My gosh, John.
Oh,
Lizzie threw herself into his arms, laughing. It had occurred to her to compare herself to the other girl, but John's words completely wiped out such thoughts. He was joking, but the fact that he was able to joke so easily with her was a wonderful thing. Besides, there was probably a bit of truth in there, too. She was better than that awful girl. I have the skip button.
So do I.
Ah. 3 skips.
Right.
Trained-
Forget about it now. We did train in the past, but forget about it now.
we need a break. The full study will probably be out tomorrow, so there's no sense wearing ourselves out over it now.
Probably right, Lizzie. I was getting tired of the news graphic anyway.
John turned off the television and returned to her, and she happily slid into his lap and lay against his chest. They spent the rest of the night just quietly talking, staying close while they worked. John hadn't been too upset about the incident, but she was happy to take his mind out of the serious subject for a little while. Though part of her desperately wanted more information, she reminded herself that what she had said was true. The incident wasn't about them. She would learn more in time. Skip button's back.
Not for long, though.
Nope, not for long at all. She made her way across campus at speed towards the lab, and to her surprise, she wasn't anxious. John was having fun. He would be happy to see her, and things would be fine. There was no threat. Not here. Wait, what? Oh, okay. And the skip button's back. Computer lab. Here we go. We're at choices.
Yeah, I know.
Which one is it?
Remember last time. Ugh.
I think we confronted John, didn't we?
Last time we said, well, like 30 minutes ago, we said, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. But now we gotta ask John about it.
Okay. Lizzie gripped her knife and firmly set aside all her doubts. Hello, undead! Yes, egg. Set aside all of her doubts. Her John would never do anything to hurt her. She got up and began preparing dinner for them, though her knife moved a little more forcefully than necessary. When she finally heard his footsteps, Lizzie eagerly dropped her knife and ran to fling the door open.
Welcome home, John.
I think from here on out, it's gonna be new dialogue.
Woohoo.
My, you're in a good mood. Oh
She
yeah,
pulled-
because I think... Hold up.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I'm under the impression that John still has that wedding as a secret.
Yep, the money.
Because it didn't ask him about it. Didn't give us an option to ask about it, so I'm guessing that it's still a secret to her, like to him. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Yeah. From here on out, it's gonna be new dialogue.
Okay. She pulled him inside and into her embrace, which he returned warmly. Once they had the door closed behind him, though, Lizzie let some of her concern show.
John, I hope this is just a silly fear, but I wanted to talk to you about it. Do you have some kind of financial problem?
Oh!
You know you can share anything with me, right?
His eyes
As
widened
I
and he
was-
gave a
as I
rueful
was talking
smile.
about it, it comes up again. Oh! God, I'm sorry. I was planning a happy surprise for you. But I guess I should have known you might get worried about over it.
A surprise? The money from all the extra shifts, it's for a surprise?
Oh. God damn it, John. I've been saving funds for our wedding.
And I bet that skip button's gonna be active again in a minute.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, it's not. Her heart soared. She'd been right to trust him, absolutely right. Though she didn't understand why he had kept it a secret, she was certain that he would explain, and of course, Sir John would have a good explanation.
Oh, that's wonderful!
John moved further in and sat down, drawing her with him onto the couch. After all the unnecessary tension dragging her down, now she was elated. Though she gave John a huge smile, the way his eyes lingered on her suggested that the tension was visible on her face.
Been playing this for a while. After high school, you were nervous a wedding would go wrong somehow, so I didn't try then. As time went on, you seemed less worried about it. But by then, you already had our college debt. I started thinking about how I've talked about money a lot. I wondered if you wanted to get married, but I felt you couldn't ask because of the money. So this isn't this is new dialogue, but it's still blocking the skip button because of the ending we're going into, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I decided to save up a decent amount, then I could ask you and show the money with no concern. Yeah, this is dialogue we know already.
Oh, you didn't need to be concerned about that, John. Not at all. I'm just happy.
Let me know if you have any concerns, Lizzie. I'm grateful you help support me, but I want to support you too.
He wants to get married right away, but we shouldn't rush it. We should make sure everything is perfect.
Yeah, that'll be something we talk about. Actually, let me get the money. No sense keeping it in a packet now.
Wait! Let me hold you longer first.
Lizzie threw herself at him cheerfully, and he was glad to hold her. She nestled against his chest, imagining their wedding. Skip button just activated.
It did?
It was just some slightly different ones before this.
Okay.
John
took a breath.
John took a breath, but his eyes were still calm. Lizzie nestled against him to offer comfort, but she knew that they could change the facts of the situation. Skip button active.
I hate them, John. I hate them so much. I wish I could get...
Okay. Redo that?
I hit the skip button, which put me
I
to...
was saying redo that. I hate them.
I hate them, John. I hate them so much. I wish I could get rid of them, but...
She gripped her knife tightly, but knew it didn't do any good. John nodded at understanding and leaned his head against hers.
I know, but they rushed it through on a surge of popular appeal, and it's already done. Skip button.
Skip just activated.
Alright.
That at least got a slight smile from him, but the situation was obviously quite serious.
It could be worse. It's not like society is going to change overnight. Yeah, that is not a new line, but okay. After all, the Kratos incident is still on everyone's mind, but they'll move on eventually.
Does this change what you want to do? Should we do something different?
No, I think we have to keep going as we have finished college, and we can build our life together.
He reached out to take her hand, and she gripped it back hard.
Whoa. I think I've seen enough for now. I don't know. I feel like I need to keep watching, but at this point it's just depressing me.
I'll watch for you. Yes, John. I'll tell you if anything important happens.
Are you sure? I don't want to make you shoulder it either.
No, I'm happy to. The news might be bad, but I don't mind if I'm helping you feel better.
Then I will take you up to it. Thanks, Lizzie.
What?
You help tuck?
She helped tuck him into bed, kissed his forehead, and then headed back to watch him late into the night. By the next morning, Lizzie was feeling discouraged, not just about the situation, but about the reactions to it. Everyone was so stupid. There were protests in support of the law and protests against it. More protests that didn't seem clear on what they wanted except change. It was utter chaos, and yet the direction of all of it seemed to be downward. There was so much attention on everything, so little of it rational. According to the report, some schools had even expelled students based on the idea that they might be a threat, even though they had no true grounds to do so. Lawsuits had already begun.
Wow, alright.
All of it, I know, right? All of it seemed far away from their homes and their life together, yet it loomed high and cast a shadow over her. She was grateful when she heard John finally getting up. He came over and gave her a quick kiss before sitting down beside her. She explained the basics of everything that had been reported, and putting it into words made things seem slightly more manageable, but it was still far from pleasant.
John, do you think we need to call off the wedding?
He looked into her eyes seriously for a long moment, not judging, just understanding. Eventually, he spoke quietly.
Would you prefer that?
No, I'm just... something might happen.
I don't think there's any real risk. I don't want you to be unhappy, Lizzie. I want our wedding day to be something you can remember forever. So if now is a bad time...
I think it would be better to do it. To prove that Koitek doesn't dominate our lives anymore. And it would make me happy, John. So happy.
She stared into his eyes and realized that she was certain. She wanted nothing more than to spend the rest of her life with him. But she was afraid that someone would take him away, somehow. Afraid of so many things.
Will you tell me everything will be alright, John?
I can't promise that. But I don't think there's any serious chance of something going wrong.
She smiled fondly through moist eyes and nestled closer against him.
I'm glad you said that. You don't offer any false hope. I don't want you to be sad, but I'm glad you never try to force things to be happy.
Thank you.
Please convince me, John. Tell me about everything and why we can have our wedding. I don't need to be afraid.
John held her and began to speak, not making any grand promises, but just going over the situation. It all seemed so much clearer when he said it compared to the chaos of possibilities within her mind. Yes, things weren't perfect. Yes, there would be problems in their future, but with him by her side, Lizzie could hope that things would turn out well. All she needed to do was trust him or trust him.
Hold up, this is very important, actually.
Capital H, lowercase h.
Oh! We gotta do the lowercase one.
Really?
Yeah!
Neat. Lizzie held her John, and he held her. Oh, wow, it stopped the capitalization entirely for he and him.
Yep.
They would always have each other. Finding peace again, Lizzie gradually fell asleep in his arms.
Hold up. Part of me... I don't know. Part of me wants to save right here and see what plays out if we do the other part after we finish it. So, what is it, my line?
I just saved there.
Whoa!
Yep, the wedding. At long last, it was time for their special day. After all the preparation, it somehow felt simultaneously as if it couldn't be happening already, and as if she had been waiting forever. Soon they would belong to each other in another way. Most of her concern about something happening to somehow interrupt the wedding had faded away. Though obviously she had brought her axe, but with John's calmness balancing her, she felt as though things would be fine. Arriving at the location they'd picked out made it all seem so much more real. She'd seen the pictures, but actually standing on the grounds was an entirely different experience. The garden area at the edge of town did a lot of weddings, and it was certainly beautiful. High hedge walls made the garden seem separated from the rest of the world, and even the opposites were picturesque. Though Lizzie wanted to go see the actual area where they would be married first, apparently things were still being rearranged following a wedding before them. Instead, they headed into the offices to do a little paperwork, which Lizzie got out of the way as fast as possible to focus on what mattered. After that, they had to part, going in separate directions to get dressed. Lizzie held her dress tightly as she was directed to one of the side rooms. She had tried it on a few times, but John had never actually seen her wearing it. No, darling, get in here. An irritating young woman, young, gestured for Lizzie to come. At first, Lizzie was angry about her presence, but she knew that it wasn't easy to get everything on her dress done properly on her own. Reluctantly accepting the necessity, Lizzie got fully dressed. Seeing herself in the mirror, she was quite pleased with the effect. The positive feelings were only slightly dampened by the assistant making comments about her. They were compliments, but Lizzie didn't care about her. She only wanted compliments from John. Unfortunately, the time it took for her to put on her dress wasn't long enough for the garden to be ready. The assistant left, leaving Lizzie to pace idly. She considered getting out her axe to see how she would look with it. She had a feeling that she would like the look. Hopefully, John would like it too. That brought to mind naughty ideas that made Lizzie giggle to herself.
Lord.
Sooner than... what?
I'm gonna say Lord with the word naughty in there.
Yeah. Sooner than she had expected, the assistant returned.
Now?
Not yet, sorry.
How much longer will it be?
Sorry, the previous ceremony went long. Just as soon as everything is cleaned up, you'll be able to step right in.
I see. I'll go talk to John then.
What? You can't let him see you before the wedding? Lizzie considered that tradition for a moment and decided that it was dumb. But the other woman seemed very serious about it, as if such superstitions made all the difference.
Hey, Nestor.
Yes. It's bad luck. You don't want to get married life started off on the wrong foot, do you? Lizzie paused, considering all the factors in her mind, then gave the woman a flat smile.
I'm going to go for a walk in the garden then.
Don't get close to any of the workers. Ignoring her, Lizzie headed out. The grounds really were pleasant. She was glad they picked this location, but her purpose was not to go for a walk. Once she got out of eyesight, Lizzie circled back and made her way around the main building. Before they'd been split up, she'd obviously noted exactly where they'd taken John to wait. Comparing it to the map she looked up of the building, she could easily determine where his room met the outside wall. She didn't see anyone until she saw him through the window. John was alone, sitting in a room much like hers. Though he looked mostly calm, she could see the tension in his hands as he clasped them together. No doubt he was nervous about this too, and given her fears about this day, Lizzie had probably added to them. But she planned to reverse that trend very soon, just not quite yet. Instead, she stayed outside the window staring at him, just like she used to. The next time, she'd be staring at her husband. Lizzie was sure that her smile had become something that was not comforting to most, but it didn't matter. She knocked on the glass and John jumped a little, whirling to look at her. But when he saw her, he immediately smiled. After checking the window a bit, he managed to open it.
Everything, I swear, man, they're breaking traditions.
I know, right?
Everything okay, Lizzie?
Fine. There's just this awful woman saying boring, things, and I got tired of it.
Before he could object, she pulled herself through the window. Normally it would have been effortless, but the dress made things a little more difficult. Fortunately, John offered her his hand, and she was able to get in somewhat gracefully.
They say it's bad luck to see the bride before the wedding.
She walked past him and locked the door to the room.
But I think that only applies to normal people.
Brushing past him again, Lizzie lowered the blinds to cover the window completely, then turned to him with a smile.
Would you see the bride?
Really? Now?
He glanced over his shoulder to the door, as if she hadn't just locked it, but he was smiling. After a moment, he turned back to her.
You're beautiful, Lizzie. If you stay here, I'll be able to help myself. Ooh.
She grabbed the front of his suit and pulled him to her.
I want you too.
Ooh.
Oh, well. Bachelorette party. As glorious as it had felt, it was a little awkward immediately after they had suggested to write their clothes and remove any sign of what had happened. They both helped the other adjust and smiled again.
Wait, did they just frick?
Oh, they fricked.
I think they did. I think they did. Oh my gosh. That was a lot better than just waiting.
Wasn't it?
Then I'll see you soon, won't I?
Look surprised!
Lizzie climbed back out the window, made sure her dress was still in decent shape, and then headed back to her room. The assistant grumbled when she saw a few things askew, but Lizzie just smiled at her demurely and said that she'd had a nice walk. In a few minutes, everything was fixed and the preparations were finally done. The wedding was so soon, yet Lizzie wasn't nervous anymore. It was finally time. Lizzie stepped from the door and into the back garden, where there was a pathway of short grass lined with flowers. Normally, there would be chairs filled with guests, but in their case, it was empty. She let her eyes wander forward, wanting to drink it all in before she fully indulged. At the end of the pathway was an archway woven with white roses. The scene wasn't marred by many people, only a pastor and a photographer, necessary evils, and then there was John, completing the image. It was the first time she had seen him in a suit, and he looked really... But we saw him in the suit when we fricked earlier.
Wait,
What? The line is, it was the first time she had seen him in the suit, but she saw him in the suit earlier.
I don't know.
Weird. And he looked good. More importantly, the moment he saw her, his eyes were filled with love that nearly broke her heart. It took all fungus fingers. What?
Smack Bros. Random.
Oh. It took all of her self-control not to run down the walkway toward him. She made herself walk slowly, savoring the moments until she finally drew beside him. They stood in front of the pastor, but she barely saw the other man. They had spent a long time talking about their vows, but in the end they had gone with none. There was nothing they could say now that would match everything that they had already promised one another. Besides, she doubted the pastor would appreciate her saying how many people she would happily murder for John's sake. With the ceremony simplified, it didn't take long. She ignored the words buzzing in the back of her mind, just staring at John until she heard the words that mattered.
I can do this.
The pastor's a guy.
Oh my gosh. Old man voice. Old man voice. Do you, John Nichols, take Lizzie Doss to be your lovely wedded wife? I do. Do you, Lizzie Doss, take John Nichols to be your lovely wedded husband?
There's only one option.
I do!
Before the pastor could say anything about kissing the bride, Lizzie threw herself at John, wrapping her arms around his neck and kissing him fiercely. In that moment, everything fell away except the two of them. Nothing else mattered. She pulled back just slightly, staring into his eyes. She saw the past pain and sorrow there, yes, but she also saw hope and determination. She saw a love that matched her own. When they moved apart, she took his arm for the sake of the picture, but those no longer mattered. When planning the wedding, Lizzie had thought that capturing this moment would be an important part of the experience. Now she saw that it didn't matter at all. What?
I was saying, this is such a wholesome picture.
It really is. A picture could never compare to the fact that she would always have this moment, always him, forever. True ending.
True wedding.
True ending. Oh boy. Let me see, where was it?
Oh, you want to do the part where it says, trust him with a capital H?
Yeah. Oh, we got, I put one save right there, and let me see.
You can back up. There you go. Okay.
Oh.
Trust him.
So, pretty much there will be one line, and then it'll skip to the wedding.
Let's see, held a perfect. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're done, boys.
Yeah, and looks
Hey,
like
what?
Lizzie's just gonna be
Hold on,
mean to
hold
the
on.
assistant. Yeah,
There's still new dialogue. Go ahead.
yeah. Lizzie scowled, trying to weigh the factors in her mind. She doubted John would care about such things, but maybe it was best not to make waves. I beg your pardon?
I can wait alone. Go away.
The woman left in a huff, which left Lizzie to wait on her own. There, that felt slightly better. She drew her axe from its hiding place and just held it, letting the familiar feeling in her hands calm her nervousness. Not just nervousness that something terrible might somehow happen, but nervousness about the fact that they were so close to finally being married. She had dreamed about this moment for such a long time. Being close to it almost didn't feel real. Lizzie paced around the room, a little to burn off nervous energy. She caught a glimpse of herself in the mirror, eyes wild and carrying an axe. She could imagine how most men might view her, and she knew exactly how John would see her. Humming pleasantly to herself, Lizzie hid away her axe and waited for the wedding to start. It was finally time. It skips all the way to I do.
Go ahead and do it then.
I do. And to skip again forever. Literally, the only difference was being mean to the one woman.
Yep. All right. There we go.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
We did it.
We did all the endings plus the extra one.
Exactly. Alrighty then. Bye-bye, everybody. I'll
Alright,
see you guys later.
You
Yup.
guys
Bye,
come back for
Dragon.
the birthday stream.
Good luck to you too.